I'm Reece Ratliff, and welcome back to another episode of Anatomy of a Song. Today we're going to be talking about Ever Since You, discussing the inspiration behind it, and how it caused me to find my sound down in Nashville. Here we go. Another song on the radio sounding like a love song. Another late night phone call hanging on too long. I've been a little bit crazy doing things I don't ever do. Ever since you, ever since you. Another scratched up Polaroid making my heart beat fast. Another every single moment with you being better than the last. You know I've been a little bit crazy doing things I don't ever do. Ever since you, ever since you. Ever since you came around, I've been figuring out what it is, what they mean, what they're talking about. Whoa, whoa. Got that Hollywood Hills kind of thrill, make you feel brand new. Ever since you, ever since you. I used to think I couldn't get even close to as perfect as this. Another late night sneaking you in for just one more kiss. You know I've been a little bit crazy doing things I don't ever do. Ever since you, ever since you. Ever since you, ever since you. Ever since you came around, I've been figuring out what it is, what they mean, what they're talking about. Whoa, whoa. Got that Hollywood Hills kind of thrill, make you feel brand new. Ever since you, da 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 da. Ever since you. Every song on the radio sounded like a love song. Ever since you, na 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 na. Ever since you, na 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 na. Ever since you. Da, 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 da. So this is another one I wrote with Chris Roberts. We got in the room and decided we were going to write a fun, catchy pop love song. At this point, I didn't have anything so mainstream radio pop, and this session turned out to be one of the main turning points for finding my sound and directing the influence of the record. Before, I had always listened to this kind of music, but had never really been able to kind of articulate my ideas in such a way that they fit into the standard of what's on the radio today. And so I think this session with Chris really changed my sound and helped me find the direction that I'd been trying to go in for so long, which was amazing. So we sat down, we listened to some Love, some Christian French, started bouncing ideas back and forth. You know, what picture do we want to paint? What images can we use throughout the song to kind of help achieve that? What's the hook? How do we tie it all back together? And we settled on the notion that when you're in love, so many things just kind of remind you of the person that you're with. They make you think of that person. So we wanted to kind of trace that progression throughout the lyrics. At first, it's another song on the radio sounding like a love song, another late night phone call hanging on too long. But then by the end of the track, it's every song on the radio sounding like a love song. And there's something in every song that brings you back to that person and reminds you of your relationship with them. And I think that's what's so special about this song, is just it kind of traces that realization, like the vulnerability of like oh, this is what love is. Like, ever since you came around, I've been figuring out what it is, what they mean, what they're talking about. It's just that moment where you're like, oh, now I get it. So I think that's probably one of my favorite moments on the whole record, just that realization. And I think, too, it's something that so many people can relate to. Just that moment of realization that, when you're in love for the first time and you really figure out what the feeling is and what it means. So after we had that, all the images just kind of came naturally. The scratched up Polaroid, the late night sneaking you in for just one more kiss, all these little classic Hollywood Hills type of thrills, the perfect little movie-esque moments. And honestly, from there, once we had all those images and the message we wanted to get across, we pretty much just threw in that little earworm synth line, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and repeated the hook a bunch of times, which before that point, like I said, I didn't really understand that was an option, just to kind of write around a hook. And I'd grown up on mostly classic rock and, this stuff that was more lyrically dense and that didn't really teach me how to just write around that one little motif that you keep coming back to. And I think because of that, Ever Since You kind of came at the perfect time in my development as a songwriter. It was one of the first tracks we wrote for this album, and it kind of just exposed me to this whole world that I'm still just scratching the surface of, this, how to write for pop and radio and all that kind of stuff. And I think without that write with Chris, it would have taken a lot longer to find that sound, and I think this record as a whole would have taken a completely different direction. So I think that's kind of the message I want to leave you guys with. Whatever your thing is, whether it's music or something else, there's always more out there than what you know, than what you've been exposed to so far. So I guess just go out and explore. You never know what you're going to find. All right, this has been another episode of Anatomy of a Song. I'm Reece Ratliff, and I'll see you next week.